And we got to go to our favorite singer, David. Not my favorite singer, maybe y'all's favorite singer, but the one who is in the news most of all nowadays. And more craziness has come out about his whole case, dealing with cell phones. We got the autopsy for Celeste being revealed, and he's talking about another victim.
Singer David is back in court today following the release of an autopsy report detailing the gruesome death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
David was charged with first-degree murder and mutilating a body after Hernandez's dismembered remains were found inside the trunk of his car at a Hollywood tow yard just last year. David has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
His lawyers are now pushing for prosecutors to quickly present their case in an effort to challenge the evidence against him.
NBC Los Angeles reporter Brittany Hope is live outside that courthouse for us. Brittany, first, the judge just set a preliminary hearing for May 1st and will allow the defense to view evidence ahead of that date. What else are we learning at this point?
Yeah, so we just got out of that hearing about 10 minutes ago. The big headline from this is simply how much data, how much evidence that we're dealing with. The district attorney's office, the prosecutors in this case, so that there's 40 terabytes of data that they're trying to figure out how to upload so that all parties involved can take a look. And this is an example. Over the past 4.5 to 5 weeks, LAPD alone has been trying to upload all of their documents, their evidence. They've only gotten 30% done, and that's using multiple computers. So certainly there's an issue with technology in this digital age with so many iPhones and iPads and different devices that are being used. They're trying to figure out how to download all of that. Another issue that they talked about is all of the different pieces of evidence that need to be sealed that no one has seen yet. That includes grand jury transcripts, a wiretap that allegedly happened last year, and search warrants. Now, another big headline that came out of this is more details about David and his own personal devices and what those devices allegedly had on them. The prosecutor said that on David's iPhone, there is a significant amount of child porn. And because of that, because there's special rules and laws in place and protections, it's going to be an issue getting a lot of that information too.
Brittany, tell us more about the autopsy.
He's guilty. He is guilty. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Child porn on your device? He's guilty. Let's keep going into it.
The report, what did it show?
Pretty gruesome details. So we waited 7 months for this. Celeste's family waited 7 months. It was under seal because of a court order, because they wanted to protect the investigation. But we learned that she died of homicide, multiple stab wounds, at least 2 wounds in her chest. We know 1 wound pierced her liver. Brutal details that the family has said they're still trying to process.
All right, Brittany Hope live in Los Angeles for us. Brittany, thank you.
Wow. Okay, so multiple stab wounds. That is what we're getting from this. And then he ended up chopping her up. Let's get over into this next video where we just learn more about this whole case.
And singer David was back in a downtown LA courtroom today, days after he was charged with murder and the death of a 14-year-old girl. The judge set a preliminary trial date for May 1st as prosecutors revealed more details in their investigation. KTLA's Jennifer McGraw live for us in downtown LA with the very latest. Jen, good morning.
Hi, Megan. Good morning. Yeah, David came into court in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. Prosecutors say there is so much evidence that both the prosecution and the defense need more time, so that's why they set the date of May 1st. Now, we are learning new details, disturbing details this morning in regards to this investigation. Investigators have alleged that they've uncovered child pornography on the suspect's phone, and some of the other evidence includes wiretaps, grand jury transcripts, police body cam footage, forensic evidence, and property and vehicle reports, and of course the autopsy info. The LA County Medical Examiner confirms Celeste Rivas Hernandez died from what's described as multiple penetrating injuries, and her death has been ruled a homicide. The 26-page report details gruesome injuries after finding her remains last September inside a Tesla linked to David Anthony Burke, who simply goes by David.
Now let's back it up just a tad bit because they actually show us, which is crazy to think about, but this is what's happened to her. This poor 14-year-old girl, or 13. Oh my God. shoulder cut. This is crazy to think about.
Remains last September inside a Tesla linked to David Anthony Burke, who simply goes by David. Investigators say Celeste was last seen on April 23rd of last year. David has pleaded not guilty, and legal analysts say what matters now is whether prosecutors can directly tie those injuries to the defendant.
Unless more information is revealed and we learn more from the police reports, the prosecution is still going to have to show that it was David that was holding whatever that weapon is and inflicted those injuries.
Now, she is true about that. Now, remember, the whole case is he is getting charged with murder. They might be able to prove about him having sexual encounter with her because the child porn, we don't know who that involves. But they have to physically put him being the one stabbing her and killing her, chopping her up and other things like that. So we'll have to see exactly what comes out, how they prove that. But at the end of the day, that's why I'm not on the jury, but it sounds like he's guilty to me. But let's keep going.
The case has drawn added attention because of David's 2022 breakout song entitled Romantic Homicide. Prosecutors allege the 21-year-old killed the 14-year-old because she threatened to expose what they describe as an illegal sexual relationship with a minor. Now, David faces some serious charges. He will be back in court in LA here on May 1st, and he could seek the death penalty. That's very latest.
The death penalty. Now, let's get over into this next one where they talk about a possible another victim. Let's get over into it.
Steve, back to you. Other information, because I understand you allegedly have proof that David was allegedly involved with other minors.
Yeah, and I've brought that up before. So this wasn't a big surprise when, Beth said the word child porn 3 or 4 times today. And she was really, I agree with Mark, there's a lot of posturing going on here. She was really trying to get that out there. But I have another minor that I've been in touch with for months and sent me photographic evidence of her and David at the rental house, and which was an illegal relationship.
Do you know if that's part of the case or going to be part of the case?
I don't know. They've been turned. I can tell you that the photos have been turned over to law enforcement. She's talked to law enforcement. I don't know if that's part of the case or not. They are going to be very protective of the imagery. They made that clear.
Steve, by the way, are people coming forward?
Jesse, let me just.
Well, Mark, just stand by for 1 second. Mark, just stand by for 1 second. I just want to follow up one thing with Steve here. Are people coming forward to you, Steve, with more information about David since he's been arrested and charged?
Yes. Yeah, there is. There have been. And a couple of people had indicated to me that they would have something to say if he was arrested. They were nervous about him and people in his orbit, and they're more comfortable now. They still don't want to go public, but they're willing to talk to law enforcement.
I mean, they're coming to you, and then you're delivering that information to law enforcement, or they're speaking to you and law enforcement?
I'm connecting them in certain cases. Yeah.
Mark, over to you.
Look, to Steve's point and your question, whether they're going to bring that in, the pretext that they would use, the prosecution would use, is we're going to show that this is what's so-called 1101 modus operandi evidence. That's why it's important that we've got to try to get in the child porn evidence. The reality is it was nothing more than a way to slime him in the setting where there is basically litigation privilege, and they're pushing back. The prosecution, as expected, is pushing back hard on the defense because the defense did not waive their right to a speedy preliminary hearing. This is all orchestrated kabuki theater on behalf of the prosecution. They are not going to put their preliminary hearing on next week if they can help it, unless
Mark,
they get rejected. That's not happening.
You could be 100% right. That could 100% be the strategy. But if this preliminary hearing does happen, right, and this is very different than a grand jury, right? This is not one-sided, closed door. Defense has an opportunity to challenge the prosecution's case. It is a low burden to, prove that there's probable cause here to support the charges, that there's sufficient evidence. When you listen to, they say they have 40 terabytes of data that they're going to be turning over. We didn't get a full analysis today of all the evidence they have and all the potential cooperating witnesses. Do you feel differently about how the prosecution, about their chances at a preliminary hearing, or the strength of their case, or what we can expect there?
Look, I say this, sometimes judges smile, other times they get mad at me. Probable cause proceedings in the County of Los Angeles have devolved into whether your client is breathing. That's the standard of probable cause. It used to be a way to weed out weak cases. That has long left the building. Probable cause now is such a low standard that virtually anything works. The problem is, from the prosecution standpoint, they have been singularly secretive about this case, going to the point of shutting down the
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
Well, I believe we got the gist of that, y'all. But this is a crazy situation. 7 months after her body was found, we're getting information that he possibly had other victims, child porn out the wazoo, and just how nasty he really was. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to see if it tells us anything else that we missed in this whole situation. So as we know, the singer David Anthony Burke was arrested on April 16th and pleaded not guilty to the charges of first-degree murder in connection with 14-year-old Celeste. Prosecutors allege he killed her on April 23rd to protect his music career after she threatened to expose their illegal sexual relationship. During a court hearing on April 23rd, prosecutor revealed a significant amount of child pornography was found on his cell phone and iCloud account. A recent unsealed report from the medical examiner found that Celeste died from multiple penetration injuries to her chest and abdomen, and her body was discovered dismembered in David's Tesla in September of 2025. He pleaded not guilty to all charges, including murder under special circumstances, continuous sexual abuse, and mutilation of remains. So those are the charges he is facing right now. But the question is, how are they going to prove it? The continuous sexual abuse might be easy to prove. With all that child pornography, it's not a crazy jump for the jury to go from all that child porn to him having sex with her, especially if he had videos or other things that could prove that. But the question is, can they prove that he murdered her and then also prove that he mutilated her? Or did he have someone else do it? They're going to have to find the weapon, the fingerprints with his weapon, or him talking about him doing it in some way. Someone he mentioned it to either rolls on him. Something has to put him in those so he can be 100%, or the jury can be 100% positive that he is the one they need to charge for it. Now remember, this is a murder case, so they all have to agree. Prosecutors stated that over 40 terabytes of evidence, including digital forensic witness testimony, which are currently being transferred to the defense. So as of right now, the preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 1st, 2026. He's currently held without bail at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility in Los Angeles. Due to the high profile nature of the case, he's being kept in a separate area away from other inmates. If convicted, he faces life in prison or even the death penalty. This case is going to be very crazy. A lot of evidence is going to come out. We're going to have to be able to keep up with it. Now, let me know your thoughts on this situation. There are some people on the internet saying that he is innocent and he is being set up. I don't know about that, but the fact that he had child pornography on his phone, if anything, he got to go to jail for that. But we'll have to wait for more evidence to come out to see if he is truly guilty of killing Celeste and dismembering her body. Let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said.